Welcome to Talking Cricket with Aakash. Again, Aakash Chopra will remain the main screen while I remain cozily slotted down here. And today we're going to talk about those guys who have the best seats. Should I say seats? Well, they're standing. Best seats in the house to watch all the batsmen hit those amazing sixes. That said, they also have a tiring job, I'm sure, which they aren't doing really well in the IPL, are they, Aakash?
Well, I won't even say that they have a cushy job because, yes, they may have the best seat in the house or the best place to stand in the house, but then they also have to be wary of getting hit when Chris Gayle is batting or David Miller or Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So it's quite a demanding job, but then, yeah, jokes aside, I sincerely feel that umpiring and that the standard of the umpiring in this IPL has been below par. Most of the umpires, especially the Indian umpires, they have been found wanting. Even the overseas umpires have been making more mistakes than what is par for the course. So yes, when if we were to gauge or if we were to assess the standard of umpiring in this IPL, I think it's definitely below par.
What's the contributing factor for this? Is it just that umpires are getting a bit complacent with the IPL? It's a bit of fun everywhere. What's it?
I don't think it's complacency. I don't think that they take it too lightly either, because for some of the Indian guys, it is the tournament. This is where they get noticed. But then, there is definite lack of skill or quality when it comes to umpiring, because these guys are, yes, they're doing first-class cricket regularly, but then I've been playing first-class cricket for a while, and I know for sure that the standard of umpiring isn't the best in the world right now. It has improved. And I must mention this, that the standard of umpiring has improved many-fold since BCCI started installing those stationary cameras at every venue. There are as many as 6 cameras installed. Every single ball is recorded, and every single dismissal is actually been assessed after the game gets over. So the umpiring standards have improved, but not to the level where they can actually come to the mainstream cricket and become, say, top flight umpires with the ICC and start officiating in international matches. I think there is definitely there's a long distance to be covered yet. And the one big reason that I see of their falling standards is that when they're umpiring or officiating in the domestic games, there's nobody at the ground. There's no noise, there is no distraction. Only the birds are chirping, and that's the noise that they have to deal with. But come the IPL, 50,000 people shouting their lungs out, and everything happening in such a frenzy, it becomes a little difficult and it becomes a little tough. Another thing that's going against them is the amount of traveling, the amount of matches that they are officiating in. Because umpiring fatigue is one aspect that nobody talks about, but it is as real as, say, a player's fatigue or a viewer's fatigue, because they have to travel perhaps as much as anyone else, and then go and officiate and conduct their duties at the highest level, which is perhaps at times too much to ask for. So there is a serious concern about the quality of umpiring, and it has to go up if the IPL has to remain credible.
We had Preeti Zinta who spoke about a few things like, she couldn't go to every match, especially in places like Chennai, because it's too hot. And these guys are standing out there in the heat for the entire match, especially in places like Chepauk and all. And is that also another factor? Do you actually get physically dizzy and you find it tough to just stay there after a while?
I think that's also a contributing factor. I won't say that it's as tiring a job as say of the players playing on the field for 40 overs, but then it's still tiring, and heat can get to you. Lights in the night can get to you if you're not used to officiating under lights, which is the case with most of these umpires, especially the Indian ones. They haven't been exposed to this kind of atmosphere at the domestic level. So this is their biggest stage, and at times there is stage fright. So there are lots of contributing factors which can lead to a poor standard of umpiring. And another thing that Simon Toffel, I think, told one of our umpires or few of our umpires is that half the time or most of the time our umpires are officiating when bowlers are bowling at 120, 125 at the most. And then the moment you crank up the speed, you take it to 145 plus, their judgment of lines, the judgment of the bounce, and the impact and everything else goes haywire. So while it's a tough step up because you have to really switch gears, but then how do you do it without enough practice? So catch 22 situation at one level, but it's not really covering them in glory because if the standard of umpiring isn't great, and in fact I think that fatigue part that we mentioned earlier, even the overseas umpires, some of the finest umpires have been guilty of some shoddy work. So it may be just everyone is getting affected. Indians perhaps are getting affected a little more than others.
No wonder that Piyush Chawla is so tough to decipher for the umpires. He bowls at speeds way over 145 anyway. But on a more serious note, and moving away from the speed gun things that we have spoken about earlier, you've advocated the use of technology for front foot no balls, which again has been a thing under the scanner, especially given the recent calls that have gone wrong. Do you feel that technology on the whole should have a much greater role to play in the IPL, given the amount of money that goes into the IPL, and it's a huge event. You can't get decisions wrong, can you?
Oh, you cannot. And but then we see decisions being or wrong decisions being made very often. In fact, way too often for anyone's liking. Technology has a role to play, and I personally feel that you need to embrace it, find different ways to enhance it, and also help the umpires, assist the umpires who are standing in the middle to take those tough calls. Everyone else who's watching the game gets to know whether the ball is the impact is outside the off stump or the ball is sliding down the leg side, but not the poor umpires, the ones who have to take that call. And the front foot no ball thing is another thing that gets my goat very often. We saw that incident where Manpreet Singh Dhoni got rid of Kyron Pollard. He had overstepped, but then umpire did not notice it in the first incident or in the first instance. He went upstairs, no ball was declared, he got a free hit, and everything felt normal. But then, if he wasn't out, umpire had just missed a no ball. So if he's going to miss a no ball, it could actually be the difference between a win or a loss. Every no ball is followed by a free hit, so you're actually pushing a team back. And we get to know only when the umpire refers a no ball to the third umpire. I think there is an urgent need to really go that extra yard, take that one more step, and empower the umpires. I'm not saying if you have a problem with the DRS, don't have it in the IPL. It's too short a format, perhaps. But then at least do enough to ensure that more correct decisions are made. And also, why not show the Hawkeye or the projection? It just enhances the viewer's experience. So technology, if it's there, why not use it?
Thank you. Anything else that you'd like to add about the umpires while we're at it right now?
No, I think that's about it. But then we need to really find a way. Our country is too big a country not to have umpires in the elite panel, and they're not there because of any problem of sorts, or there is no politics happening at the top. I think it's just because our umpires haven't been good enough. One guy who has actually stood out, and I'd like to mention Mr. Anil Chaudhary. He's done well. He's caught my eye. And if he carries on in the same vein, I think he could be the man who could really coat the whole hog.
Well, he's going to definitely then be umpiring some of the IPL matches. I'll look forward to watching him call those no balls in the most non-dramatic manner. Thank you so much, Aakash. We'll have another episode sometime soon, I'm sure.